the house. Now, Peter, good morning. Good to see you. Now, we have had children become... Why have children become such attractive targets for kidnappers? And what still, how do we make sense of this disturbing irony that some of the actual kidnappers accused of terrorizing communities have gone live on social media to offer cash giveaways, and people have willingly sent in their account details? What does this say about our collective moral fiber and the society that we have become?
Thank you very much for having me. How are the mighty fallen? A country that cannot protect its children is a country that does not care about its future. In terms of leadership, in 2013 and 2014, the current president stated that on issues of security, the buck stops at the president's table, and that if Jonathan cannot, the then President Jonathan could not protect Nigerians, he should resign. Today, this is the legacy that President Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu is leaving for Nigeria's 3 years down the line of sorrow, tears, and blood. But to call Tinubu as a leader a failure will be an insult to failures. It will be a disservice to failures, because this is a kind of failure that other failures look up to and aspire to gain this kind of milestones. Remember that in 2025 June, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu visited St. Lucia, a country in the Caribbean islands, and gave students scholarship in a foreign land. Meanwhile, in his home country, children are not even begging for scholarship. Nigerian children are only begging for an opportunity to wake up in the morning, dress up, go to school, and come back without ending up with terrorists in the forest. Today, as we are speaking, under the Tinubu administration, in 2024, Nigeria was the 6th most terrorized nation in the world. By 2025, we became the 5th most terrorized. Anti-root, in 2026, we are the 4th most terrorized nation in the world. But you know why our situation is peculiar? The government and the military of the 4th most terrorized nation in the world has a policy that is called Operation Safe Corridor. Under that policy, government gets terrorists that have killed children, mothers, fathers, including military officers, organizes a ceremony for them, gives them a shoebi to wear, and say they have sworn to a holy book and they have now been repented. So the government commits taxpayer money to rehabilitate non-terrorists, while the victims of their mayhem and their anguish are still in internally displaced persons camp, and some with the terrorists in the bush. Nigeria has more than 18 million out of school children. Today, schools are still shutting down because we have made a multinational enterprise out of insecurity. And it will not end for as long as government seems to be complicit in what is going on. If Nigerians do not wake up and we continue to pander and talk about this situation without any tangible solution to ending this mayhem, my thoughts and prayers are with everybody, because as we speak today, a 2-year-old toddler, Christiana Akombi, is in the forest. And guess what the leadership is doing? The president and the first lady are engaging in a campaign for the re-election of this government. It is a tragedy, but unfortunately, it will continue for as long as the people permit it. That is where we are. Children have become a soft target. They are taken, they pay ransom, and the circle continues. Why? Because government has failed in its primary responsibility to protect life and property. A government.
Okay, but Peter, what do you want to say about the people who actually posted their account details to the kidnappers when they were giving monies away? What does that also say about our own moral fiber? Because people have actually posted their account details, and the bandits gave them monies. So what does that even say? What does that say about us as a people?
What are we supposed to do as a people when the government agencies that should be tracking criminals and terrorists are rather too busy going after critics of government? Anti-root, terrorists in Nigeria have accounts, they make calls, they have medical supplies, and somehow the intelligence. So when you build a system of criminality, when you nurture criminality, criminality will develop and it will fester. That is why terrorists can come live on TikTok. But there are certain conversations we may have even on this news channel. Your safety may not be guaranteed, because maybe the people may see and think that you have become a threat to national security. How on earth are terrorists able to operate with before the glaring eyes of the entire nation? And we have an intelligence unit in the military, we have a DSS, but somehow cannot track them. So are we going to leave the terrorists and then come after Nigerians who are engaging with them? What are the authorities doing with the information that they have? What are they doing with the persons that have been caught? We are rehabilitating them. They are repented. The people who may not have opportunities to repent are people like the teacher, Mr. Oyedokun, who has been beheaded on live television. Meanwhile, the people who beheaded him may come out tomorrow and just repent.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter. Which brings me to my next question. There's a growing perception that when it comes to political dissent or activists, enforcement is swift and coordinated. But when it comes to kidnappers and violent criminals, the response feels slower and less effective. What does this say about state priorities? Because he just said that government needs to be more reactive. They are reactive when it comes to arresting activists. Why doesn't this extend to armed robbers and bandits?
It should tell you where the priorities of the state lie. If you can have repentant terrorists, how many repentant activists who made statements have you seen been rehabilitated and given money? Let me make it clear, that every government is more powerful than whatever criminals or criminal gang that operates around its territory. Whenever you see a government that seems to be helpless in the face of criminality, one thing is sure: such governments are complicit in the criminality. Once you are able as a government to detach yourself from the criminal network and you go forcefully against the criminals, you will not only crush them, you will protect your people. Nigeria is going around in a circle because we are yet to figure out the political wing of terrorism and insecurity. If we fail to end that political wing, the one in the bush will only continue to fester. I have stated it maybe even on this program, on this network. A governor who is an APC governor in Kebbi State came out in the open and made a statement. He said before there was an attack on the government girls secondary school in Maga in Kebbi State, we had intelligence. We deployed law enforcement, including military. They reported to the school. They took pictures with the students and the teachers and were there. Few hours before the attack, somebody gave an order for them to be withdrawn. They left and people came in and took children and killed the vice principal. The governor is asking the commander-in-chief who ordered troops out of that school. Till date, nobody has been able to answer. And then we go ahead and we say that the children were discovered. Ransom was paid. People have benefited. So when you continue to pamper terrorists, a country that is more concerned about taking care of repentant terrorists than protecting its own children. So under this administration, people who are supposed to be leaders of tomorrow are in the forest with terrorists, while the leaders themselves are feasting and preparing for the election. So you will continue to see these shenanigans because we have built a system that rewards criminality and corruption, where integrity and staying by the rule of law may become more problematic for you. People are in DSS detention today for making a tweet about government. Somebody was detained, Justice Crack, he's still in court today for saying military officers should be fed properly. So when our intelligence is only able to go against people who are voices of dissent against government, while government on the other hand, anti-root, a popular Islamic cleric, Mr. Sheikh Gumi, said on national TV, he said government knows where the terrorists are. They know their location, they know them by name. Has anybody invited Mr. Sheikh Gumi for questioning? What answers have been gotten? So what are we saying? Who is deceiving who? Until we end this circle and stop pretending to be asleep, we are all in trouble.
Thank you so much. Thankfully, we have Christian in the house. As I always say, better late than never. So, Christian, welcome to Perspectives. Now, I want to just sort of cram all your questions into one because of the time we have spent so far. You were a victim of kidnapping. So tell us what your experience was like from the beginning to when you left.
Okay, my experience was horrific. It was a road trip from Lagos to Owerri, impromptu road trip. So I was supposed to use God is good, but they had left at the time. So used another public vehicle. It was a Sienna. So on the way...
How many of you were in the car?
There are about, let's say, 7 there because there's a woman with her kids, more than that.
Okay.
So on the way, after the Ore, where people do stop to wait by, 30 minutes afterwards, 30 minutes after we were done waiting at Ore, entering the outskirts of Edo State, the gunmen came out of the bush, shot at us. We were kidnapped. So taken into the forest.
How long did you walk in the forest?
For so many hours. Like, I can't count the hours, but so many hours. So in the forest, we got to our final destination. I think that was like early morning the next day. So early morning the next day, we camped somewhere in the forest. Day 1, day 2.
Were you fed?
I wasn't fed, but the other persons that were kidnapped alongside me was given just one, like akbu, one to share.
Okay.
Yeah, so although the first of the kidnap, one person was unalived.
Was killed.
A truck driver, yes, that was behind us while we were reversing back. The truck driver that was riding the truck behind us that we hit. So in the forest, on the third day of the kidnap, because I thought perhaps if we had erased the money that they were asking for, I might still be unalived.
At what point did they start asking you to call your people for monies and stuff? Was it the second day?
From the first day.
From the first day?
Yes.
They all asked you to bring out, to call whoever you want to call for your ransoms?
Yes.
Okay. Was it a general collective ransom, or did they give each person?
Each person.
Okay. How much were they telling you to ask in your case?
70 million naira.
70 million naira. Okay. Yeah.
So on the third day, because I had sustained injuries already all over the place.
How did you sustain injuries?
Torture.
They tortured you?
Yes.
Why? Was it only you they tortured, or everybody that was there?
I was the person that tortured the most.
Why
so? I don't know, perhaps maybe my size. I was bigger before.
They're still big now.
Not like
nice
before.
and fit.
Thank you.
Yeah, but why did they pick you to torture though? Did you try to? What happened?
No, I didn't come into the forest with my mobile phone. Mobile phone, I left it in the vehicle. So yeah, it was the number I had offhand. I called, so I had to find a way to go on. They gave me a small handset. That was on the third day, the day that I tried escaping. So to go on Facebook, because I begged to go on the internet to say I'm kidnapped, so that people can, and I can reach out to other people too as well. So, which I did, but I sustained injuries. I was fed up. I was tired and all.
Well, you said you tried to escape. So did you run away, or were they sleeping?
On the third day, no, they were not sleeping.
So you just ran off?
These bandits, these people, these kidnappers, few of them went out to front for to a location where one of us, they had raised up a certain amount of money. I don't know how much. So they give them a location. The numbers reduced. So that was where I just gathered one last courage to escape. As I just said, I'd rather die trying than be in their mercy.
So did they run after you?
Yes.
And caught you?
Yes.
And that's when you were injured?
Yes.
Okay. Where was the injury?
My hands and my left palm and my leg. So the leg was cut, or the patella, my knee, cut in two.
Wow.
So it was folded, my bone was stuck out. So there came close, and one of them came close with that guy wanted to, I don't know what they wanted to do, but they spoke their language, and so they told me to stand up. I could not get up, or bleeding profusely all over the place. Then they left me there. They left some persons in the bush to chase after me. So they went back to those people. So I was left there in the forest. They told me not to leave there. I mean, there was nothing I could even do still. But while I was there, bleeding and all, I just was using my back to.
You were crawling with your back?
Yes, with my back. For a few seconds, I will do it. Some seconds, I will rest. I'll continue again. I'll rest, just like that until later that night, not midnight. Some persons came, saw me with a vehicle. I think
you had gotten to the edge of the road at least with this by the time they saw you from the main road.
The place is like a track road in the forest. Where I took myself to was a track road in the forest.
Okay.
Like it looked like a road that vehicle passed, but a track road. So I was just using my back to go. At a point, I could not move anymore. I was thirsty. I was sleepy. I started counting the stars. So when this truck came with the flashlight, some persons came out armed. I thought that maybe they had come to complete the board. They were asking who am I until it came close. They took me to a nearby hospital. And that was how I started my first operation. Yeah.
Now, I know this is very painful for you to experience, for you to share with us, and I truly appreciate the fact that you've made the effort, and I can imagine how it must be for you emotionally. But I'm glad that you're sharing the story so that other people who have gone through this experience will know that they're not alone. So how has that affected you as a person since you got back? What are the things that worry you now that didn't used to worry you before? How has it changed your personality?
I'm going to say I'll give God the glory because during the period I spent about 4 months thereabout at the hospital. Then I could not move, just at the spot. So it was excruciating pain for months. At the point I was hallucinating. I dream. I'm always dreaming and stuff. Then later on, the hallucinations spiked up, or due to people around me, good people that were morally supporting me and all of that. So then I left the hospital in 4th month. I was receiving treatment at home for like straight 7. It was in total like 7 months thereabout until I held the crutches for the first time to start moving with the 2 crutches gradually. So that period was a period of just
depression. I can imagine.
Yeah, well, I know I've healed from that, even though sometimes I try to fight. I always do things to keep me positive and all of that, but what it did was just it made me appreciate the little things of life. So not as bothered and worried like I used to be before. Little things of life, although it has taken me back in terms of now I can do with my hands. I can walk with my hand, not my leg like that for now, because
I can see this car.
Yeah, the leg needs another procedure to enable bending and running and stuff like that, which I'm not ready for now. So I just do what I can do.
If you had to advise the government on how to handle the after effects of kidnappers when they're released, how to integrate them back into the system, what do you think the government should do, put in place, where people like you can visit and gradually get better? If you had to advise the government, what would you say to them?
My opinion is, firstly, of course, security. Because sometimes I don't know how other people will process the aftermath, because it's like each time you stay, you think that they're coming again and stuff like that. You are going on the road, the flashbacks and all of that. And 2, mental health.
Yeah, mental health, yes.
Yes, mental health. And perhaps keep them busy. Keep them busy with activities, because I would say if I'm not someone that is always trying to do something sport or art and stuff like that, I think it would drain me more than I am now. But I always try to keep myself busy all the time. So I think that's something, maybe recreational activities and stuff like that, and perhaps finance to support them. Because I'm sure many people are still there. The trauma haven't left many people that are kidnapped survivors, and it has affected the way that they do their work day to day. Maybe the way they hustle before is not the way they're hustling now. And some places that they're supposed to go to, they can't go to those places anymore because of the insecurity and all of that. Enable them financially.
Empower them. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Christian, for sharing your story. Can I have Peter back in the house, please? Peter, you've listened to Christian's most harrowing story, and I'm sure he speaks on behalf of a lot of kidnappers who have gone down this road. And the question about rehabilitation process that the government needs to do is also a very personal and strong question that we should ask. And there's also a disturbing video circulating on social media showing a group of herdsmen sexually assaulting a 56-year-old woman on her farm in the presence of her 2 children.
Yeah.
Have Nigerians become so dangerously accustomed to a level of violence that should never be normal? And what happens when public outrage begins to fade? So I'm asking you 2 in 1 questions. What the government should do to rehabilitate those who have escaped, and also what this does to our moral fiber when, after the outrage has come, it goes. These people are killing people, raping people. I even hear that some of them even eat the kidnappers that they kill, and they put it on social media. So, where do we draw the line here?
It is... Auntie Ruth, are we a normal people? Is Nigeria a normal place? This is the story of a survivor who, what we are hearing today, has almost become a norm. My brother, my thoughts and prayers are with you. I congratulate you and I celebrate the fact that you are alive. May God keep you so that you can fulfill your purpose in life. Auntie Ruth, are we a normal people in this country? When you say you should talk to government to do the right thing, shebi it is a government that is interested in the welfare of the people that you can talk to that will listen. When you are unfortunate to be led by people who are political businessmen, who see citizens not as human beings who deserve good governance, but as customers for their personal trade, then this becomes your portion. This tragedy and this calamity will continue because we handed over power to persons who have no business being there and who have proven that on the will or the list of beneficiaries, the people come last, if at all they appear there. What he is talking about today as his experience is what a 2-year-old toddler is going through in Oyo State. A 3-year-old boy, Sikiru Salami, is going through this kind of experience as we speak. We may not even know their current conditions in the forest. And guess what? The wife of the president, who is supposed to be, according to her, an ordained minister of God, is attending an APC rally where she's trying to inaugurate Tinubu torch bearers. I don't know the torch they are inaugurating that cannot find 40 children in Oyo State, and distributing cars to women leaders in the state house. When under Jonathan, we even saw the then first lady shouting and screaming, even if it is to pretend to have empathy for children. Auntie Ruth, children is what Nigeria is not able to protect. A country that cannot protect your women, cannot protect your men, cannot protect your youth, cannot protect, we cannot agree that children should be protected. What are you going to tell? When you say that they should begin to do this, we have repentant terrorist rehabilitation. When will we have rehabilitation for victims of kidnap? When are we going to set out funds to say people who have gone through this torture? We are waiting to see when government will come up with a policy to support them, to reintegrate them back into society. You can imagine the trauma that a person like this is living with. Auntie Ruth, if Nigerians do not come together, mobilize and end this reign of terror we call a system of government, my condolences are with all of us, because everybody is a potential victim. Today's victims were yesterday's survivors. Tomorrow's victims will be today's survivors. The dead can no longer die. The next set of persons that this carnage will happen to are those of us who are alive. May we say enough is enough soon enough.
Thank you so much, Peter.